This is the concept development for Lesson 8 of Module 1 of Engage New York. We are working on rounding decimals using vertical number lines and place value charts. The first problem I want you to take a look at is 49 and 67 hundredths. So what we are doing when we use a place value chart is called decomposing the number. We are taking it from one place, like the tens to the ones to the tenths to the hundredths, by moving the numbers on the place value chart. So the first thing we're going to do is round this number to the nearest 10. So what I'm going to do is take a look at my tens column and see that as I've written my number 49 and 67 hundredths in the correct spaces, I have just the number 4 here and nothing else to the left. So 4 is going to be my low number on my number line. So I'm just going to stick my 4 in there. And my high number is going to always be one number greater than my low. So 1 greater than 4 is 5. And remember, this is the tens column, so these are actually worth 5 tens, and this is actually worth 4 tens. So what's halfway between 4 tens and 5 tens? That would be 4.5 tens, 4.5 tens, or 45. So now what I'm going to do is go back to my number and look, 4, 9, 6, 7. So where in relation to these numbers would be 4, 9? And hopefully you have said right around here. Don't pay attention to this decimal here, just focus on the numbers. 4, 9, 6, 7, so 4, 4, 5, and 5. It would be right around here, which means that my number would round to 5. So if I'm running to the nearest tens, that would be worth 5 tens or 50. Let's do the ones. So if I want to round this number to the nearest ones, this is where I start to do that, what's called decomposing my number. So I'm taking it from a 10 and I'm moving it down to my ones. I'm taking my 4 blocks of tens and I'm changing it into 49 ones. I'm decomposing that number. So 49 is going to be my low number. So I put that at the bottom of my place value chart, my vertical number line. 1 more than 49 is 50, and then I'm going to find my midpoint. My midpoint would be 49.5, and remember this is ones that we're dealing with. So 49,4967 is my number, where in relation to all the rest is 4967. 49,495,50, so it should be right around here, 496. It's in the top half of my number line, so I'm going to round it to 51s, which is the same thing as just 50. Okay, the last one we have to do is tenths, so let's take a look at that one. I would like to round 49 and 67 hundredths to the nearest tenth, so we start with our number written like this. We decompose that 4 into a 1, the 4 tenths. And when I'm rounding to the tenth, I'm going to take all of my numbers and just start squishing them over. Everything to the left of that number needs to be squished in. So I'm taking this 49, squishing it with the 6, and I get 496. So that is my low number on my number line, 496. 1 more than 496 is 497. And remember, I'm dealing with tenths, so 497 tenths. So what's halfway between 496 and 497? I'm going to start by writing my 4 and 4 are the same, my 9 and 9 are the same, and my what's halfway between 6 and 7, 6.5. So now let's look, 4967. Now look at these numbers, 4965. So 4967 would be somewhere around there. So here we go. That means that it's going to round up to 497. Remember that 497 is tenths, so 497 tenths actually equals 49.7, or 49 and 7 tenths. So there's my number that I'm going to be rounding to. Okay, let's try a couple more. This second problem is using the number 9 and 949 thousandths, and this time we're rounding just to the tenth and to the hundredth. So I've taken my number and written it on a place value chart. My 9 is in the ones column, my decimal 949, just like this number here. And I'm going to round it to the tenths, so I'm decomposing my number and squishing it over. So I'm taking my ones, everything that's to the left of this place, and squishing it in. So I get 99 tenths. 99 is my low number, so that goes at the bottom of my vertical number line. 1 more than 99 is 100. Remember, this is tenths, so 99 tenths and 100 tenths. What would be halfway between 99 and 100? 99.5. Okay, so I'm looking at 9949 as my number. 9949. So would that be above or below this midpoint? 994 would be somewhere right around there. Since it's below, the number I'm rounding to is going to be this one. So this number would round to 99 tenths, which is the same thing as 9.9, 99 tenths. Okay, let's try hundredths. First, I start with my place value chart, my number written the correct way, and then I start to decompose those numbers. And what that means is basically just squish them over, carry them into this column. So I'm rounding to the hundredths. I'm looking at all of my numbers that were to the left of that, taking that 9 and this 9, and they go right in front. So the number I'm dealing with is 994. That is my low, 994. What is one more than 994? It should be 995. So then find the midpoint, which would be 994.5, and now I'm going to be looking at my original number, 9949. 9945 for my midpoint, so where would 9949 lie? Hopefully you said somewhere up here, which means that my number is going to be rounding up since it's in that section. So this is 995 hundredths. So just like I decompose my number and squish them all this way, I could squish them back out, and that would end up being 9.95. Ooh, there we go, 9.95, or 9 and 95 hundredths. Okay, let's apply this to a word problem. So this one is kind of like a puzzle you have to figure out, and you're going to be able to use a vertical number line to solve it. So the problem says a decimal number has one digit to the right of the decimal point. If we round this number to the nearest whole number, the result is 27. What are the maximum and minimum possible values of these two numbers? Use a number line to show your reasoning, include the midpoints. So I've drawn my number line and I've started by including a couple of numbers here. So this number line to the left is going to represent my maximum number. This one over here is going to represent my minimum number. So the number had one digit to the right. So that means it had something in the tenths place. This number did. We don't know what it is yet, but it did have something there. When we rounded it, it rounded to 27. So to find my max, my low is going to be 27, and then my high will be one above that, 28. So my midpoint between 27 and 28 is 27.5. What is the highest number I could possibly put with just one digit, so just a tenths place, that would still result in us rounding to this number, because it says the result is 27. So the highest possible number would be right around there, and it would have to be 27.4. Because if it was 27.5, that would mean we would round up, and we didn't round up because our number is 27, not 28. So it can't be this part here. So our maximum number, our greatest number it could possibly be, is 27.4. I'm going to keep that number in mind. Let's just put a star by that. Okay. For my minimum number, I want you guys to try and see if you can figure this out using what we did for the maximum. if my low this time was 27 and my high was 28, there's my dog, you can try and figure out what the minimum number would be. So in this case, we would be rounding up as high as 27, which would make our low number one less, so 26. Okay, so this time, what's halfway between 26 and 27? You write it down. 26.5. So if I know that my number had to be 27, because that's what it says here, then what's the lowest possible number it could be so that we would still round up to 27? It would have to be this number right here. If we went any lower than that, 26.4, then we would be rounding down to 26. So my numbers, my lowest possible number it could be is 26.5. My highest possible number is 27.4, but it could have been any number in between there. So this is my reasoning for how I came up with 26.5 all the way to 27.4. Go ahead and take the quiz and see how you do. If you get them all correct, then you are ready to move on to the problem set. If you miss one or two, then please make sure that you see your teacher so that he or she can go a little bit more in depth with you.